Hi everyone, I'm Carol Keller, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Illinois in the US, coming to you today with a card that I made as part of our global Stampin' Up! Vlog Hop. We do a vlog hop every month, and this month the theme is thanks. So I've got a thank you card. I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to turn my camera around right away so that we can get started with the project. This is the card I made for today for our theme of thank you. And it uses the Welcoming Window stamp set and the window flower box dies, which I will show you at the end. And I've also used the In Good Taste Designer Series paper pack. And I'm going to show you, we're going to use a different Designer Series paper for the card we're going to make today. And at the end, I will show you another variation. The In Good Taste paper has lots of different textures that work well, I think, to make it look like the shutters are on the outside of a house. So that was my idea today. So I'm going to use this Designer Series paper from the same pack. And I've got a basic white card base, A2 size, which I'm going to crease with my bone folder. And we're going to put that Designer Series paper on right away using multi-purpose liquid glue, so that I can reposition it if need be. Put it right on the front, and this piece is for an A2 card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. For an A4 card, it is 10.5 centimeters by 14.9 centimeters. We'll put that aside to dry. And I want to show you that I took some Smoky Slate cardstock and I put an adhesive sheet on the back to cut out the window. Since it's so narrow, it'll make it easier to adhere to the card front. And I've also cut out the shutters, and those don't have adhesive on the back. We'll just use some Stamp and Seal. And then the window box has adhesive mostly on the back, so we'll just peel that off as well. But before we lay down the window, we need to have a piece of basic white cardstock that is cut to the same size to use so that we don't see the brick through it, the stone through the window. And my piece of basic white is cut to 1 1/2 inches by 2 3/8 inches, or 3.8 centimeters by 6 centimeters. And so we're going to peel the backing off. Actually, it's started right here. If it's not started, you could use your take your pick tool. And we're going to lay it down there so that the bottom and the sides have no white showing. And we just have to trim then the top. Okay. So we'll trim the top off. And now our window is ready to go on the card. So I'm just going to use my Stamp and Seal for that. And again for the shutters. For the window box, I placed it down just a little bit below the window, not right up against it. And I also die cut the hinges in basic black, again with adhesive on the back. And we'll place those. So for this one, I'm just going to use my take your pick tool, again, to pick up that adhesive. Just kind of hold it almost parallel, just to make a little cut in the paper and pull it off. And then for the curtains, for these curtains, I used the Subtles paper pack. This is Blushing Bride. And for this one, I'm going to use a piece of the paper from the Your Peach Designer Series paper pack. So all I did was use the borders, one of the borders dies, to cut this out. And then I just used the same die that I used to cut this out and placed it where I wanted it to be on the pattern paper to show the curtains in the window like that. So I will be right back once I cut that out. So now I've got the curtain pieces, and I'm just going to adhere those with a glue dot on each one. You could also use your multi-purpose liquid glue. And I'm just fitting it right in that spot, right in that window. And now it's time for some stamping. So I have a scrap of basic white. And we're going to use both of the different flower stamps from the set. Okay, so we have, like I said, our 2 stamps that stamp the flower bouquets. And I'm going to stamp those in Just Jade this time. I used Soft Succulent on the previous card. We're going to try Just Jade on this one. So we'll stamp 2 of these. And 1 of the other flower bouquet. And we're also going to use that stamp to stamp the envelope. And the inside of the card. And I've added a little more light, so hopefully that will help. I meant to put my light on my phone and forgot. So now that's done, so hopefully that will help. And the next part we're going to do is bring in the 2 flower stamps so that we can stamp the flowers that go inside the bouquets, inside where the leaves are. So on this one, I used Blushing Bride for both of these and Highland Heather for this. And this time I'm going to use both of those, but also bring in the Balmy Blue to sort of coordinate with the little curtains there. So I think for the 2 window boxes that are going to go right, or the 2 flowers that are going to go in the window boxes, we're going to do 1 in Blushing Bride and 1 in Highland Heather again. So that is this stamp. And I love these photopolymers. Now hopefully, it's hard to do this without getting my head in the way, but hopefully, good. All right, that's pretty good. So that is the Blushing Bride. Now we've got the Highland Heather for the other one. And for the rest, we're going to use Balmy Blue for this one, which coordinates with the other bouquet. Perfect. And we'll do the same thing on the inside. And on the envelope. And then the only thing we have left is the pots for a couple of the things and the sentiments. We're going to do the sentiment on the inside. And we'll bring back the Highland Heather for that. And for the sentiment inside, we are using My Sweet Friend. And I will cut these out so that we can finish our assembly, and I'll be right back. All right, so now I've cut those out, and I have a scrap of Smoky Slate that we're going to use to make a coordinating flower pot. So for that, I'm taking my Smoky Slate ink and one of the flower pots that comes in the set. And we're going to stamp that and then cut it out. But we're also Going to give our flowers some pots. And here. And I love it because you don't have to mask, because the flower pot is light enough that it looks like the flowers are hanging over the edge. I just love that. And I'll cut this out and be right back. Next, we'll put it all together and put on the finishing touches. So for the flowers, I'm just using, for the flowers that go on the window box, I'm just using my Stampin' Seal. And then for the flower pot, I'm going to use a glue dot. Which is my last one on this roll. And then I'm going to put it here, maybe down here a little bit. And we're going to stamp the thank you right on that pot. I did on one of the other cards stamp it on the pot before I cut it out, but you have to put it up toward the top and it got lost a little bit. I'll show you in a moment and you can see, but I think it's easier to do it the way I did here and just stamp right on the pot and have it overlap the card. So I'm bringing in my Memento Black for that. So that I could put it down a little bit toward the bottom. Perfect. And then for this flower bouquet, I am going to use my Stampin' Dimensionals and pop that up a little bit. We'll put a couple on the back. Take the paper off. Oh yeah, see, that looks very good. And then last but not least, a little bit of bling, these gorgeous brushed brass butterflies. Just grabbing my take your pick tool to put those on. One maybe here, and another little one over on this one, and then one of the larger ones just kind of up floating in the sky. We'll do this one this way, I think, or up toward the house there. And that's it. That is our card for today. So 2 variations, like I said, just using the different designer series paper, and I said I would show you a 3rd variation, which I've also done. Again, just using another one of the beautiful papers from that In Good Taste designer series paper pack. And this one, I felt like I needed to use the vanilla for the windows because of the color in here, but I really think the basic white would have worked. And so then I tried it here, and I think you could do either one. The vanilla softens the look of the window a little bit, but like for this one, I think you don't have any choice but to use the basic white, but I think they all look good. I hope you like them. And I'm going to put them aside just so I can show you some of the components that I used today to create these cards. First off, I used, like I said, the Welcoming Window stamp set and the companion window flower box dies. So it cuts out the images, these images, plus there are 3 different flower pots and a little watering pitcher, and then the window components. And then these cut out the shutters. If you want to stamp them first and then cut them out, you can do that. And this cuts out the little cross beam on the bottom of the window. This one cuts out this window. So lots and lots of options. And I love the font, and I love some of the sentiments. Sending sunshine for a beautiful birthday. Hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day. And I love that, my sweet friend. So that is the bundle, which is now, instead of the usual 10% off, 20% off this month, as is that mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine that I used to cut out the components. And I also used this In Good Taste designer series paper. Again, lots and lots of backgrounds, some tile. There's all sorts of wonderful options that you could use, some wood grain kind of images so that you could use it for like a window in a barn or something. And then for the curtains, as I said, I used the Your Peach Designer Series paper. I used that striped one for the card that we made today. And then I used the Subtles Designer Series paper assortment, the Blushing Bride, to use for the other curtain. And of course, those brushed brass butterflies. And then the last component that I used to cut the curtains was the basic Borders dies. And it doesn't say in the catalog that these are compatible with the mini, but I think they work. This was the one that I used, to cut the edge of the curtain to make it pretty. So that's it. Those are the components. I think that's everything. Thanks so much for joining me. All of us really appreciate you watching for our global SU vlog hops. Please join us again at the end of the month when we have another one. And to go to the next video, just go down to the description and click on the link. That will take you to the next video in the hop. But be sure to come back and check out some of my other videos. I have card videos, scrapbook pages, tips and techniques, paper pumpkin alternatives that I do every month. So lots there to hopefully enjoy and find useful. So come back and take a look. And of course, give some love in the comments. We always love that. And we will see you again next month. Remember to take advantage in the meantime of the wonderful 20% off sale. Touch base with your demonstrator. And if you don't have one, I'd be happy to help you out with that. And you could take advantage of some wonderful bargains. All right, everyone, take care, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.